like to see more of? Or do you have a couple days to iron out?
Preseason didn't go well. The games didn't go well. We had struggles, and we've got a few days to try to make some progress.
You feel like you made some of that progress today? What was kind of the focus you had with connectivity? I believe the word you used.
Well, the focus today is hard play defense, ball movement, and conditioning.
He asks players a lot about things they work on or hope to get better at season to season. Do you set goals on things you would like to improve as a coach even this late in your career?
Myself? Sure. Yeah, there's always, the human experience is all about growth. So, I'm always thinking about things. I'm not going to tell you, share things, but, the answer is yes.
So obviously we took down to Charlottesville to see Tony's press conference. I guess what was it like to kind of watch him go through that, talk to him, and get a sense of the decision he made and what made him decide to move? And
well, I was there for the cap appearance formal.
Okay, that's why you're going first.
So went after our game the other night, and as luck would have it, all that stuff was going on there. So I was at the press conference, and talked to him some before, and just wanted to be supportive, say thank you for an amazing 15 years. Tony Bennett is basketball royalty in the basketball world. He's just held in such high regard. Kind of person he is, kind of program he's run, level of integrity, and so it was emotional press conference. It really was, but he was amazing explaining everything, and then in the afternoon I watched the team practice. Had their first practice, with Ron Sanchez as the head coach. So it was an interesting day for me to see the transition, and really a historic day in so many ways.
What was it like to watch a practice like that when it's obviously emotional for them, and you have a guy who has to sort of start and go, and they're probably 2-3 weeks from their opener. What was it like to see that? What impressed you about how they handled business?
Yeah, it was very well managed. The previous day they did not practice because of the news, and Tony wanted to talk to the team. But yesterday there was a real urgency that needed to get down to business, and it's the beginning of a new era of Virginia basketball, and every one of those players is a stakeholder, and Ron Sanchez is an experienced coach with a significant amount of head coaching experience and a great knowledge of their team. So he's the right guy to take over.
Anything more you can add about the decision to move on from Cole yesterday and what might be up with the last roster spot now, or is it still kind of open what the plans could be?
Nothing really to add. He did a great job in training camp. He's very close. It was a splitting hairs decision, and some of it has to do with our finances with the roster. But he's an NBA player. He's got a real lethal NBA skill, and I predict he'll be in the league this year somewhere.
We heard about the starting five not having maybe the connectivity you guys hoped to in these preseason games. What to you has kind of stood out as where you guys need to be better as a unit with the season coming up?
I think it's just in our approach. I think it's our demeanor out there. We have to be a little more assertive, a little more demonstrative, if that's the word. But we just gotta do what we need to do, play hard, be aggressive on that side of the floor, compete, have fun competing to win the game.
Do you feel like those are things you can iron out in these practices, or do you just feel like you need to play, get it figured out, mental stuff?
Yeah.
What is it to you?
I think those things are things that we need to all individually look inward and see if we're bringing our real best effort. It's gonna be we're all professional basketball players. At the end of the day, we have to get ourselves going. So we gotta do that.
I guess in that case, does it kind of just come down to people just not taking preseason games seriously enough? Is it like you guys have had an issue in the past where you've really gotten up for teams that are really good, and you sometimes struggled with teams that
I don't want to necessarily say that. There needs to be improvement. That's simple as that.
What have you thought of these zone things you guys have added and how they can help you guys this year?
It's been really effective, I think. It takes away a little bit of the team's rhythm. I think the way we're using it can really give us a little weapon to use at times to switch things up if the teams are getting a little hot. It's good NBA players are going to get going at times, and I think it's all about placement too. And we got a lot of trust in the coaching staff to place it at the right times.
When you go against them, is it more of the shock factor that it's a zone possession you're going against that makes it difficult? Is it like you figured out after a few possessions, or is there more to it that you guys need to implement yourselves?
Sorry, say that one more time.
So when you go against zone, like the first possession, it's surprising when it's there. Is that more of what makes it effective? Is it actually some principle of it? What to you makes it work?
I think that's a part of it for sure. I think the surprise element. I think a lot of guys freeze when they see zone and start thinking, what do I have to run? What do I have to do? When most of the time the best option is to just keep playing how you're playing. But yeah, I think it's to make guys think. In basketball, you're playing. The way you are playing your best is when you're in that flow state. You're not really thinking. You're just kind of moving out there. So when you got guys waiting and thinking, and observing, and trying to pick it apart too much, that's when you might get a steal or take a bad shot.
What could make this a good zone team? What do you like about the way you guys are structured that could make you good in those circumstances?
We got athletes, we got energy, we got youth, we got length. Yeah.
Starters maybe not being as connected as you guys need to be through this preseason. What to you has kind of been leading to that or causing that?
You can say it's a lack of effort, but at the same time, I feel like our guys got to set the tone for the other guys. For guys that have been through these training camps as much as we have, we kind of feel like, it's our job. And then you got second unit, third unit guys who are, fighting for a contract or fighting to be here every day. And their spirit takes over, whereas, I feel like ours hasn't, matched that. So we got to remember why we do this at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I know it's our job, but it's also fun. There's also a lot of passion that goes into what we do as well. So just being more locked in the details and setting the examples, being the older guys here in camp.
Is this something you can fix in practices with practice time, or is it literally a mentality switch Wednesday you feel like you'll be ready for it?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a combination of both. You have to practice to rep it out, and, some of it's X's and O's, some of it's execution, but a lot of it does fall down to effort at the end of the day. And I think that's where I think the Stars can be a little bit better. But again, I don't want to put it on our effort because I know guys are working hard and I know what our intent is, but at the same time, we still got to set the precedent, set the tone.
Pascal talked a lot last season about how well you guys fit together. Has a training camp with him helped that to you at all? Have you seen any other ways you guys can mesh and gel?
Yeah, I think we're clicking. I think it's just a matter of spacing and whatnot. He knows that he does well. I know what I do well, and now we're just playing off each other. And I think it has been good to have him here. At the beginning of the season to get that time. So yeah, it's been good.
Doing a story on Drew, I think I talked to his high school coach, his dad, some other people that kind of coached him coming up. One thing they said about him is he's just really good at connecting with people, basically, and really and understanding people. And a lot of things that they said were a lot of things they said about Ty, and I thought that was interesting that they're, that they have that skill, but they're also different. How does he manifest it differently, and how does that work within kind of the whole scheme of you guys' kind of leadership? How does that personality piece work?
I think that Drew is someone who knows how to turn it on. You know what I mean? He's got a pretty easygoing personality, but when it's time to compete, he gets in there and does what he has to do, and it's easy to play with him. When you have a guy out there, another dog out there is going to do all the little stuff, it makes me, I guess, more in tune defensively or, more inept, like to go out there and play a little bit harder. So I think Ty and Drew have different personalities, different games, but you are right with their connectedness. It's easy for them to kind of go out there and, I guess, get guys going.
How important is he it seems like he's kind of a piece that ties a lot of other things together. He allows you guys to do a lot of different things because he's willing to play the two, play the backup one, be a guy that can be a secondary ball handler but also defend. How much do you feel like he's made everything work, and also allowing that they can play all three of those guards, Ty, him, and TJ? How has he kind of made everything kind of all the puzzle pieces fit together?
I think it's a luxury to have someone who's a combo guard. I think he's more fit. I don't know. I couldn't say if he's better at one or better at two. I just think that he's it's a luxury to have someone like that on your team. So, when you have a guy that can go in there and mix it up, it kind of makes roster flexibility a lot easier too. So not only helps us, but also helps, the staff, and they're able to, put in guys or plug them in certain situations because he plays both sides of the ball.
He's obviously making more of an effort to score. Basically, he's thinking about it more. How are you? how are you seeing that focus change what he can do and how much more dangerous he can be? You certainly saw it in the playoffs. How is that kind of continued forward going forward?
He's got his confidence last year. I think that it might have been his rookie year when he went to Golden State or the West Coast and had that run. Anytime a rookie or a young guy get that confidence early, it's kind of easy to kind of manifest into the rest of the play. And I think it was really beneficial and crucial for him to get that experience early. So he knows that we depend on him. He knows that he can be one of those guys just get downhill and go. And ain't nobody holding him back, but himself. And it's rare that happens.
What's different about Isaiah this year to you?
I think that Zay's kind of the same thing with that experience he got last year. I think that was huge for him, huge for his confidence, and huge for him to kind of, see the ball go through the hoop. I think that a guy like him who pretty much sat the bench all year last year, he stayed ready. You know what I mean? And when he got his opportunity, he hasn't looked back. So I think he's taking that same approach in the camp, and he's nice catch. His athleticism speaks for itself, man. He makes it for a lot of stuff that way. And he just plays hard, man. And he's one of those guys that he's stronger than he looks. You know what I mean? He kind of looks like he's a little bit skinnier, but he's like a wiry type of strong, and he's able to go out there and mix it up and compete with guys.
How much better is the jumper got for him? He was seeing it a little bit. I mean, he took like a 15, 17 footer the other night. Didn't see that a lot of that last year.
He's always been able to shoot, man. He be pissing me off because he's always been able to shoot the ball, man. I just think that now he's flipping the switch to do it. Since he's got here as a rookie, I've seen him, be able to shoot the ball a little bit. We're playing pickup. He shoots a whole bunch of threes. But, I think it's just a mentality thing. I think that he likes to mix it up. He likes to bang down low, and he kind of likes to get on the rim because that's what he's done his whole life. But as the game is approaching with bigs being able to shoot, he has that in his bag. So I don't think it's a jumper thing. I think it's more of a confidence thing.